A very cheerful morning to all my dear students. I hope you all are ready for your English class. So let's continue chapter 18, The Wrong House. In the last class, we studied that this is the story of two thieves, Hasty and Blackie. As you can see in the picture, they tried to enter the house with the briefcase and they tried to open the front door, and finally they got succeeded and entered the house. But still they were anxious to know whether there is somebody in the house or not. So they surveyed each and every room and finally they were relaxed. And happy to know that nobody was there in the house, and they considered themselves fortunate for that. As they had a briefcase, what is the secret behind the briefcase? What is there in the briefcase? As you know, this is the story of two thieves. Obviously, they had stolen money from somewhere and they had stolen money from the bank. Yes, you are right. They had stolen money from the bank. So, when they were running with the briefcase in their own car, they hit by mistake a policeman. And because of nervousness, they drive their car very fast, and due to which police started chasing them. And during that chasing, a bullet punctured their car and they had to leave their car in order to save their lives. And that is the reason they are in this house with the briefcase, as they were protecting themselves from the police. When they were relaxed to know that there was nobody in the house, they thought of a second plan. They thought to buy a new car for themselves. Instead of stealing the car, they thought that they were having enough money so that they can buy their own car. And for that, they thought that they had to wait till 8 o'clock in the morning so that the showroom will get opened by that time and they will buy their own car. So before the sunset, they decided to hide the briefcase in that house in the basement, and before the sun rises, they went out to buy the new car. When they returned from the showroom agency with their little nice car, what they saw that the family had returned. Now they got upset that how they are going to get their briefcase, which they hide inside the house. As Hasty was quite intelligent, he thought of a plan, and he told Blackie to just relax and drive the car so that he can use his brain and make a plan to get their briefcase back from the house. So let's see what happened after that. So, leave it to me, kid, Hasty told Blackie. You drive the car, I will do the brain work. Let's find a telephone quick. Now, what plan Hasty make in order to get their briefcase back from the house? Let's see. 10 minutes later, Hasty was at PCO. Consulting a telephone directory, yes, there it was. Samuel Rogers, Block 9, Green Park, 4632890. At once he dialed the number. So Hasty went to the PCO and dialed the number of Samuel Rogers. As you know, the owner of the house was Samuel Roger. Hello, he began. Is this Mr. Roger? Mr. Samuel Rogers? Yes, this is Roger speaking. Hasty cleared his throat. Mr. Roger, he said in a sharp official tone, This is headquarters speaking. Police headquarters. I am Simpson, Inspector Simpson from the CID, the Criminal Investigation Department. Yes, yes, came from the other side. This is very secret, said Hasty, lowering his voice a little. The DGP, the Director General of Police, has ordered me to get in touch with you. He is sending me out with another officer to see you. Am I in some kind of trouble? Asked Mr. Roger. No, 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 nothing like that. But I have something of great importance to talk to you about. Very well, said Mr. Roger. I will wait for you. Very well. And Mr. Roger, Hasty said in a tone of warning, you must keep quiet about this. Don't say anything to anybody. You will understand when I see you and explain everything. On their way back to the house, Hasty explained his idea to Blackie. Within 10 minutes, Inspector Simpson and Detective Johnson were conversing with surprised Mr. Rogers. He was a small man with a funny little face and pale blue eyes. He was nervous and badly frightened. So, what happened after that? Hasty made a call to Mr. Samuel Roger and he pretended to be the inspector of CID, Criminal Investigation Department, and he told him that DGP has ordered me to be in touch with you. What did he told him? That DGP had ordered me to be in touch with you. Listening to him, Mr. Roger said, am I in a kind of trouble? Hasty replied, no, no, nothing like that. I have something of great importance to talk to you about. Mr. Roger said, okay, I'll wait for you. And after that, Hasty said to Mr. Roger that please be quiet, don't discuss about this to anybody, let's be a secret. And on their way, he explained his plan to his partner, Blackie. Within 10 minutes, they reached Mr. Roger's house and they had the conversation. Mr. Roger was a small man with a funny little face and pale blue eyes. He was nervous and badly frightened, as he was very frightened and nervous that why the inspector of CID came to meet him. Inspector Simpson explained. Inspector Simpson, who is Inspector Simpson here? Yes, Hasty. He explained to Mr. Roger the whole story of briefcase. Actually, they want to get back their briefcase. So they created a fake story regarding the briefcase and then narrated the same to the Mr. Roger. The story was true, but a little change was there. Story was true. The way they had that briefcase in their house, the way they entered their house is exactly the same, but a little change was there, as they were pretending to be the yes, they were pretending to be to be the person related to CID who has given some task, who has given some case to handle. Right? They were hiding their personality as thieves. They were showing as if they belonged from CID. So Mr. Roger was surprised but delighted. Delighted means happy. He accompanied Hasty to the basement and together they dug up the briefcase. Hasty brought it to the living room and opened it. He saw that it had not been touched and then he closed it. So, after getting the briefcase from the basement, Mr. Roger also accompanied them and helped them to get their briefcase from the basement. They bring they brought that briefcase into the living room, and they opened it and checked it, and it what they observed, nothing had been touched, and they closed that briefcase. And now Mr. Roger, he announced, who announced? Hasty. In a most impressive and official manner, Johnson and I must run along. Now, what did Hasty said? That I and Johnson should leave now, as we are in a hurry, that we have to give this report regarding this briefcase to DGP. The DGP, Director General of Police, wants a report, a quick report. We can't wait. So what did he said? Hasty was very smart. What did he say to Mr. Roger? That now we got this briefcase, and they opened it and checked everything was at its place, nothing had been touched, and they said to Mr. Roger that we have to leave now, as we have to give the report regarding this briefcase to our DGP, and it's very urgent, and we have to leave now. We have to catch the rest of the robbers also. We have to catch the rest of the robbers. However, I will keep in touch with you, Mr. Roger. Hasty picked up the briefcase and walked to the door. Blackie followed him. Mr. Roger bowed low and opened the door for them. The three big, strong men in police uniform were standing outside the door. "Come on, boys," said Mr. Roger pleasantly. "What does this mean, Mr. Roger?" asked Hasty. "It's quite simple," said Mr. Roger. "It just happened that I am the DGP." So you can see what happened when Hasty and Blackie were about to leave their house. Mr. Roger opened the door for him, opened the door for them, and what they saw suddenly, two strange men in police costume. They were standing outside, and Mr. Roger welcomed those boys and said that, "Come on, boys." Hasty and Blackie, they were surprised, and they asked, "What does it mean?" Then Mr. Roger smiled and said, "It's quite simple. It happens that I am the DJP." Now, as Mr. Roger was the DJP, now you can imagine he earlier knew that something wrong happened, and because of that, the title had been given to this chapter, "The Wrong House." The thief entered the wrong place. That is, they entered the wrong. That is, they entered the wrong house. How they entered the wrong house? That it is the house of the DJP, and to whom they are trying to make fool, DJP only. So this is the story, and this is the climax, which is very interesting. That I hope you liked the story and understood very well. Still, I want you to read the chapter again and try to write the summary of this chapter in your own words. Thank you. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy. With this, your chapter is completed, and complete the notes of chapter in your fair notebook in a neat and clean handwriting. Thank you.